Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. So, Father's Day is coming, and you know what that means. That means that we are going to be chatting about my top 5 suggestions of what you can do for Father's Day that will not only not break the bank, but it will be the most intentional gift that you have given for this Father's Day. So if you wanted to see my top 5 ideas of what I think you should get for this Father's Day, then just stay tuned and let's get right into it. Okay, so Father's Day is coming. You're feeling the anxiety. You're feeling that internal pressure that says, oh my gosh, why have you not gone to the mall and bought the thing? Like whatever the thing is, you fill in the blank, whether that's like a barbecue set or, and then, as time goes on, you start to look at crappier and crappier gifts, and you're sitting there like, this not only does not align with what I believe should be a good gift, it's the most useless thing I've seen. But then you kind of start to even like take it a step further and wonder, what were like retailers thinking when they picked that up and started advertising that as a good idea to buy for Father's Day? Exactly. So let's not go down that rabbit hole and then stop buying stuff out of guilt. Like, we're over that. We've gone over that emotional growth and personal growth journey back in December when we've done that for Christmas. How about we don't bring that garbage here for Father's Day? I don't want you to use things like Father's Day, Valentine's Day, whatever, Mother's Day, as a way for you to feel guilty for having to buy something. It's not always about buying something. So I thought I would just show you what I'm kind of thinking that I think that maybe will help you out. Number 1, way to your papa's heart is through his stomach. So get to the kitchen and bake him something, like anything. I'm going to be baking like either cupcakes, or my daughter's like super into this book right now from actually one of the YouTubers, and it's like there is like a thing that you can make, like there's like a dessert that you can make for each of the holidays. So there's one for like Valentine's Day and Halloween and Christmas and whatever. So we're going to be making there's sort of like a little mustache shaped cookies. For my husband, I want to create that like with my girls, so that they have some participation in that. Obviously, they're not going to be putting the cake in the oven, but I feel like, especially if you're a parent, that you know, like Father's Day should be something where we're celebrating your dad and really highlighting what you love about him the most and making him feel really special. And I think that it doesn't necessarily have to happen with money. Well, you already grasped that. I mean, you're watching like a minimalistic approach to Father's Day. So I don't need to preach to you. I think you're already like on your way on that road. If you're terrible at baking, or if you completely destroy whatever you're baking, it could be a cake, it could be like whatever it is that you're actually deciding to make. If you destroy it, the good news is that there's a bakery down the street from you that can still, like, the option for you to buy the thing will always be there. But the thing is that at least you want to show up and make that effort to make a thing. You know what I mean? So I would go with head over to the kitchen and make something small but like really meaningful. Number two, if you're at a point where, you know, like you actually want to buy something, but you don't want to really spend a lot of money, either get a gift card or go to the store that your dad really loves, or your husband, or whoever the father is that you're buying for. Going to that store and buy something small but like meaningful. That could be like, it could be like an organic cotton store, or, you know, like in our city here, we have a store that sells bamboo cotton, and like it's one of the softest cotton shirts that you can find. And so I could either just get a gift card to that store, or like I could get some socks with those t-shirts, and like they last, like they're awesome. They don't really cost a lot of money, but yet like it's super meaningful because I know that he already loves it. And then, you know, you're just like, here you go. Enjoy it. And they do enjoy it. So like, and I've done that over Christmas time too, where I kind of added like a few of like the zero waste essential items, and part of that was actually the socks from the bamboo store. And like I've gotten nothing but compliments ever since from all my family members because they love bamboo cotton. So go figure. Number 3 is very close to my heart because I enjoy reading, but I also enjoy, personal development in general. I think that you should always train your mind, and you should always and you should always manage that environment, that internal environment, so that, you bring out the best possible version out of yourself. And I think that books and audiobooks definitely have the ability to do that, because I always sort of feel like the author is just sitting across from me and teaching me about their wisdom, whatever they attained over the years, so that I don't have to go through that hardship. So books can be an amazing gift, and you might be looking at either getting a physical book. If you have a book that you really love, that would be like another amazing way for you to give an awesome and personalized gift. If you have a book that you either have like more than one copy of, or you've read something and it really resonated with you, you might want to give that as a gift to your dad. Because sometimes we need new things to come into our environment in order for us to really change perspective. And sometimes that information does not need to come from us. Sometimes that information just needs to come through us, and we're just like the connector. So books are an amazing way to do that. And honestly, there's usually new books that are coming out every single season. Father's Day is no different. If you go into any bookstore, I would challenge you though to go into not to the large retailer bookstores. Go into some of the family owned, see if you can find like a family owned bookstore and see what you find there. Because and bonus points, if you wanted to make it really intentional and really meaningful, talk to the owners of that bookstore and see what they would recommend. Because older family-owned bookstores, they have been around for a while. It's not like it's a corporate chain where everything is curated. You know what I mean? So you will have the ability to tap into the wisdom of those owners that have been running that store for a really long time, and you might be able to get a book that you never even thought that your dad might be into. But if you kind of describe how your dad is, or what he's into, or what he likes, or whatever, that's where like those hidden gems are found. They're usually not found in the polished, beautiful bookshelves. They're actually found in like the back corner of like this small family owned, like you need to go and travel that path for you to find those hidden gems. And sometimes you need to talk to the people that have been doing this for a little bit longer than you. So I challenge you to do that. Number four are all about events. So instead of buying a thing, look at events, look at local events if you can, look at festivals, look at concerts. Concerts are always great, like in the summertime, for you to like get it. Like, so don't think of like a gift for your dad as it has to happen right that day. Even if if you're kind of thinking ahead, like, okay, listen, this is a concert for like October and I think you're going to love it because it's like your favorite one or whatever, that becomes a lot more meaningful and more intentional. And it's just like the whole idea is not so much that you don't spend money, but it's that you become really intentional about how you spend your money, what you're buying, and who are you buying for. And you really need to know your audience. So whether you're buying this for your husband or you're buying this for your dad or for grandpa, whatever the case may be, look for meaningful, deep, meaningful gifts. So events are an amazing thing for that, because then you can come along, the entire family can come along. Like, it kind of becomes more about the actual experience than about the thing that you're buying. And number five is actually my favorite, and this is, I think, what we're going to be doing for my husband with my children. So it's a little intricate, but really it kind of goes back to my first idea of baking something. The DIY is like a really wide, that's a wide range. So I'm going to narrow this in for you. For DIYing, I like the idea of creating something with your hands because it becomes a lot more personal. My only suggestion for you would be, if you're DIYing something, is make it something actually useful. Because I see this with children all the time when they create a DIY project and then you're sort of I don't know what to do with this. You can't really put it up on the wall. You're leaving it on the fridge for maybe 2 weeks at best. But then, by the time Christmas is coming, you kind of want to take it down. But then you feel bad because they put the effort in. So Don't do that. What I think you should do, what I'm going to be doing is basically here's this. And we've done like a version of this last year and it worked out amazingly. So this year we're going to be baking a cake. Is it a cake? If we're going to be baking something, I'm going to keep it as general as that so that you run with your own imagination of what that will mean to you. We're going to bake something and I'm going to write like on little strips what my children love the most about their dad. And I have done that for my husband in a similar way where I would put them in balloons, and we might put them in balloons this year too. But the idea is that basically I'm going to see if somehow either like leave it in the cake, or I'm working on the idea. But the whole point is that bake something, write down what you're grateful for about your dad. And what I'm also thinking that we can do is to create an actual handmade card. So I have watercolor, but I also have watercolor paper, which is a little bit thicker. If you've ever painted, you already know that watercolor paper is usually a little bit thicker than like your normal like sketch paper, because it needs that depth to absorb the paint. So maybe what we could do is with the little cards that we're going to, or like the little notes that we're going to write down like what we appreciate about dad, we can sort of draw like a picture and then paint it in, and then it can be something that maybe we can frame, and then it can actually make it onto the wall. So that will take more, like it's an afternoon project ultimately. If you don't want to do any of that, or you're like super challenged when it comes to crafting and you can't draw for the life of you, you definitely don't paint, then what you could also do is you can get like a little printer, and I will show you what it looks like. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you already know I talked about this. This is the HP Sprocket. This connects to, I keep touching the microphone, sorry. So this connects to my phone, and then from my phone I can actually print out small little pictures from the phone, and then there's like a little adhesive in the back, and then you can actually just make like a little collage of like, I don't know, 4 or 5 pictures. Regardless of whatever you do, make it so that, you know, like, and then you can just write like Happy Father's Day on it, and then you can frame it. You can maybe even look for like an older frame, put it into the frame, then that way it's like, here, that's your gift. You put it, like, the purpose is you put it on the wall, and every time you look at it, you remember that it was Father's Day. You know what I mean? Depending on like how old your kids are and then what they're into, these are just some of the ideas. I think that personally, with any of these celebrations that are coming up, ultimately the idea behind it is that you're not having this deep anxiety of like, oh my God, like I need to go and spend like a ton of money, otherwise I'm a horrible kid. You're not. Really, it's a made-up holiday, just like Mother's Day was. Like, all of these holidays, they're made up, and really the idea is just to put some focus back on dad. Can you do that? Find a way that you can do that. Make it intentional, make it meaningful. Make sure that you show up with positive energy, with your presence. Give them the attention that they usually don't get. And you kind of have to base it on like what your dad is into, you know, and what your husband is into, or what your guy in your life is into. And then if you use that as a guide and you don't really make it about you, you're going to have an awesome Father's Day. I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear what you're going to be doing for this Father's Day. It's coming up this weekend, like it's sneaking up on us. And because it's summer, you kind of have like a ton of, I feel like it's one of the best holidays because you have a ton of options. It's not like we've got dumped like, you know, 5 tons of snow and you're snowed in, and the only thing that you can do, like for example on Valentine's Day, is just like order pizza. You know what I mean? Or just be resentful that it's Valentine's Day. I don't know why we're talking about Valentine's Day. Moving on. Anyway, these are all my ideas. I hope that you have enjoyed them. I would love to hear from you of what you are planning on doing for this Father's Day. If anything, are you doing something? I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. I will also leave links. I guess I can leave a couple of links if you wanted to see like where you can get the little Sprocket. I will just link it down in the description, but you can basically buy it anywhere they sell HP products. And if you are brand new here, well, welcome. I'm so glad that you stopped by. We chat about 3 times a week on this channel, and we talk about basically all about intentional living, how we can create the life and the health that we want, that is more meaningful, more mindful than before. So we talk about zero waste, we talk about green beauty, we talk about consumerism and conscious living. So if that's your jam, you're going to love this channel. Consider subscribing. You can also hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. And in the meanwhile, you guys, happy Father's Day to all of you dads out there. You guys are rocking life. And I will see you guys again in my next video.